Time now for Built for Success, presented by Ram Trucks. It's the third Saturday in October, meaning it's Alabama, Tennessee. This is also on ABC, number 7 at number 11. Both teams kind of mirrored each other this season. Both started 4-0. Big stumble, close wins lately, both looking to stay in the race for the SEC championship game. Who's going to come out on top, and what does another loss mean for each of those teams? Great question, Kickoff viewer. To answer that, we now welcome in the esteemed Trevor Matich, our college football analyst, making his way to the tailgate. Trevor, as you come over here, can we offer you a beverage? We want to be
we got a bunch of them here.
No, but you have stamps of socks. Sam, are you wearing socks?
I got the little no-shows
socks, yeah.
I got no-shows.
Listen, if I had ankles as good looking as yours, I'd wear no socks too. But first thing I noticed was, wow, Sam is just, but those ankles.
Those ankles?
Oh.
No, I appreciate it.
Man, it's a good look. You got to embrace it. You got to lean into it.
If there's one thing I'd love to be known for, it's the ankles.
Yeah, well, it's a start.
So much of this is just about operating with confidence, and neither of these teams really doing that of late. You see the Spider-Man meme. The teams looking at each other like, we're kind of the same. Trevor, first I want to talk about the Crimson Tide.
I didn't realize Spider-Man was so bald.
I mean, it's the look is in the Vin Diesel, Jason Statham thing we got going on. Bama, Trevor, basically since halftime of the Georgia game, it's been less than convincing. The loss to Vandy, darn near loss to South Carolina. Still, I mean, it's Alabama. You assume with all the talent, they're a CFP contender. What do you see from this team going forward?
Well, I see roller coaster. I see up and down. And when they're up, they look like Bama of old. It's a party. The offense is rolling. The defense is sacking quarterbacks and making plays. But when they're down, I've got to tell you that it makes me kind of sick to my stomach to watch them on tape. Yeah. Because they're missing assignments, they're busting coverages, they're getting blocked, they're getting beat, they're missing tackles, they're taking bad angles to ball carriers. And when they're down, it is uncharacteristically awful. And so, Alabama right now, I don't know which team is going to show up any given half of football.
Yeah, well, that's the interesting thing, too. It's like Alabama's strength is Tennessee's weakness. And Tennessee has really struggled on the offensive side since conference play started. But, they started out 3 straight games with 50-plus points and then averaging 21 points per game since. So aside from the competition just getting better, what can you attribute their struggles on offense to?
Sam, deep passes. This offense really rolls when Nico Iamaleava, the quarterback, is connecting down the field with deep passes. That opens up the running game. It opens up everything. And for the first several games, it was dimes. I mean, he was accurate. Whether the receiver was wide open or tightly covered, it didn't matter. The ball was dropping in the right spot. The last 3 games for Tennessee, that deep pass has largely disappeared. It's been very difficult to connect on those, even with open receivers.
Right.
And the last 3 games, by the way, the offense only scored 2 touchdowns in each during regulation. Now, that's weird for people that are used to seeing this Tennessee offense just really light it up. So in order for them to be able to beat Alabama, that deep pass is going to have to be resurrected from the deep, cold crypt.
Yeah. Trevor, I want to talk matchups. I was going to point to the X's and O's we have here, but this is absolutely an illegal formation on our graphic.
It's that little X that's the problem.
Right. He's covered up. We know Tennessee's great on 3rd down. We know Jalen Milroe can pull it out of the fire with his creativity on 3rd or 4th down. Remember the Iron Bowl. What's a matchup that Alabama needs to exploit here?
They need to exploit their pass rush against Nico Iamaleava because he's still a young quarterback. And we've seen him struggle a bit. I don't know if it's his confidence or he's a little bit tentative when they get after him. And it sort of started with the Oklahoma game 3 games ago. Yeah. They only scored 2 touchdowns in that game. They won because of their defense, but they only let him throw 21 times at Oklahoma. They ran it over 50 times. They were protecting him. But in those 21, Oklahoma had 2 sack fumble recoveries of those fumbles in 21 attempts. Think about that. Wow. And so I'm thinking what Alabama needs to do is kind of recreate that, get after him and make sure that he can't beat them. If Tennessee's going to run the ball and they run it exceptionally well, one of the best rushing attacks in the SEC, okay, you live with that.
Right.
What you can't live with is the 50-yard strikes.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, what does Tennessee need to do to recreate the magic that we saw the last time Alabama went up to Neyland Stadium and the goalpost ended up in the Tennessee River? But it seems like it starts on the defensive end, right?
Yeah, but it's not there anymore, the goalpost. They fished him out, cut him up to sell for souvenirs.
That's
so
right.
Free enterprise is alive and well. So in case you want, a goalpost bracelet, it's available for you. What Alabama, their secondary also is going to have to do well.
Yeah.
You know, because part of the problem is those busted coverages, and part of the problem is we've seen Alabama defensive backs at times look like world beaters, and at times look like their eyes are closed.
Why?
Right?
Why is that?
I don't know. I think they're just young. I think they're getting acclimated to this level of football.
Sure.
And they'll be better down the road because they're exceptionally talented. But if you're Tennessee, what you're hoping is, okay, we look downfield, we see a guy like Malachi Moore, who's a All-America caliber, probably a first-round draft choice in the secondary. But then we see some young guys. And we're like, okay, we are going to scheme against that guy.
Trevor, before we let you get a bratwurst and get out of here, somebody's coming out of this game with 2 losses.
Yeah.
And you look at the schedule coming up. Bama still got to go to Baton Rouge. Tennessee still has to play Georgia on the road. I mean, some are considering this a college football playoff elimination game, given what's ahead. I guess, who needs it more, and who do you have taking it?
Well, in this case, who needs it more would be Tennessee, because Alabama already has that Georgia win in the bank, and that Vanderbilt loss is looking less and less putrid as time goes on, because Vanderbilt's proving to be a solid SEC team this year. Tennessee still has to go play Georgia, as you mentioned, Phil, and so that game is not in the bank for them. But either way, both teams need this, because if they both finish 10-2, head-to-head is what's going to be the differentiation for the committee. If they don't win the conference championship, if they're going for an at-large spot and only one of them can make it, the head-to-head will be the difference. So Tennessee needs it because they don't have Georgia in the bank right now, like Alabama does. But ultimately, the head-to-head, it trumps everything.
You got to earn the bratwurst I offered you. We need a pick, Trevor. Who's winning this?
I'm going to say Alabama. And the reason is there are a lot of reasons to trust and distrust both sides.
Sure.
But if you're going to trust one guy, it's Jalen Milroe.
Yes.
And the young quarterback, Nico, he has a great future. He probably has a great present as well. But if you're going to ask me to pick this game, the one place I can say I'll take the experienced quarterback over the inexperienced quarterback.
I'm taking Alabama too. But we were talking about before you came on how big of a factor the missing piece in the middle of that defense for Tennessee, Peely, like he's not there. That's a leader. That's a problem. So I'm taking Alabama.
That's because he's a transfer from BYU.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the main reason.
Yeah, and by the way, they do sell Alabama socks. So you can wear a Vanderbilt goalpost
I'm never going to live it down. I'm never going to live it
Alabama
down.
socks.
Yeah.
We're going to take up a GoFundMe for that. We
good.
can get you some socks.
We need it.
And for me, we still don't really know who Alabama is under Kalen DeBoer in his first year there. This could just be a team that plays to the level of the competition. They get a big lead on Georgia, take their foot off the gas, make some wrong presumptions about Vanderbilt, make some wrong presumptions about South Carolina. There's no making wrong presumptions in Knoxville. We've made 100,000 enemies in Neyland Stadium, but I'm going to go with Alabama as well. Trevor, always fun having you at the tailgate, man. Let's do it again.
No, it's great to be here. 100,000 enemies, not enough. Give me more.
Give him more.
I love playing on the road.
That's right.
Love it.
Man, it's a busy Saturday on the field and also bookending most of the games. Things will still be kind of winding down, Sam, as you guys are on the college football playoff show, but this just into the kickoff,
That's right.
90-minute expansion.
That's right. And everyone complains, well, there's no red zone in college football. We are going to give you the closest thing that you're going to find to a college football red zone show on Saturday starting at 7:30 Eastern time on the college football YouTube page.
That's Saturday, streaming live on YouTube.